If you've ever struggled with getting up in the morning, you know how hard it is to actually push yourself to be 100%. You may feel defeated. You may feel like, it's another day. And your mind is already telling you it's going to be a bad one. And you don't want to get up. I know how that feels. I'm a therapist and I've also felt depressed and anxious. I wanted to share a realistic morning routine. I think there's a lot of routines out there that really touch on waking up at 6 a.m., waking up at 5 a.m., but they really don't talk about people who do struggle with anxiety and depression and how hard it is to have a morning routine. And so I'm going to share some of my tips that I've given my clients. I think mornings can be especially challenging when we're struggling with mental health, but it's important that even taking small steps can make such a huge difference in our day. So number one, the one thing that you want to do first thing in the morning is to honestly allow yourself to be gentle when you wake up and acknowledge your feelings. It's essential to recognize how we're feeling in the moment. Often it's not going to be the greatest, but even just labeling that feeling, like I am sad, like I am anxious, and understand that it's okay not to be okay. You want to take your time getting up, and I know that for some people, I don't know if that's the best advice. If you constantly wake up late and you're running in chaotic energy, I know that is not always the best advice. But I also think too that there are a lot of people who just give advice on pushing yourself, to be your best and to wake up early and things like that. And I think sometimes your body needs rest. Sometimes it just needs a minute to say, okay, we're getting up. However, if this is unrealistic and you're constantly running late and you constantly find yourself getting late to work, then what I recommend is to put your phone on the other end of your bedroom. That way you can get that kind of alert to get up, that motivation to get up, to shut the alarm and try your best not to get back into bed. Something also that I've done myself is I changed the alarm sound to a song that I enjoy, a happy song that I enjoy. And I think that also can be helpful because sometimes alarms can be just so loud and overpowering and annoying that it doesn't really make for a great start to your day. I highly recommend that you change that. This will help encourage you to get up. The thing is, when you're struggling with depression and anxiety, like at least for me, when my anxiety will push me to do things while my depression will tell me, no, we're not doing those things. And so when we're struggling with both, they kind of balance each other out, where we're kind of in this melancholy state sometimes, where maybe we're just feeling some apathy. We're not really interested in doing things, but yet we do them. So if you're feeling like that, sometimes depression doesn't have to feel like you're in a hole and like that you can't get up. Sometimes you're in the hole and you're okay with getting up a little bit and doing things. So this is for you if you're kind of in that stage of like feeling that kind of middle between depression and anxiety. The second thing that I recommend for clients to do is to practice mindfulness, which I know can be really hard if you struggle with depression, but taking a few moments to ground yourself in the present. This could just be sitting in the edge of your bed and taking some deep breaths, just allowing yourself to be present. It's another day. It's another day you get to live. It's another day that you get to start over, see every day as a new day to start over. Sometimes it's helpful to just close our eyes, take deep breaths, and let go of those racing thoughts. We know anxiety will give us some racing thoughts, some thoughts of like, oh my gosh, you got to do this, you got to do X, like it's time for work, And so it's important that we kind of lower the volume on some of those thoughts by practicing mindfulness. It doesn't mean like completely be thoughtless, because that's not realistic. It just means stay present. The next thing that I recommend is that hygiene matters. So Even if you don't feel your best, take care of your basic hygiene. It makes a difference. So brush your teeth, wash your face. What I tend to do so that I don't feel overwhelmed in the morning, especially when I have been burnt out or depressed, I will shower at night so that it's one less thing I have to do in the morning. And I will just focus on brushing my teeth and focus on washing my face as just some simple things to just get me going. Washing my face with cold water will definitely wake you up. So if you don't have energy in the morning, definitely try to do it at night. But if you do have a little bit of energy, remember that that taking a shower is going to really just help you wake up. And it doesn't have to be a long shower. I often feel like, at least my clients who have struggled with depression, they're like, well, it's because like taking a shower takes 15 minutes. I'm like, you can make it 5 minutes. Like, make it quick. Maybe you don't wash your hair. Maybe you just do a body shower. Like, make it quick. But at least that's one step for yourself that is taking care of you, that it's prioritizing your hygiene. So you do not have to have this, like, not always have to have this like 15 to 20 minute shower or 45-minute shower, self-care shower. Like, you can just make it quick, especially if you're already running late or you're already having a hard time getting up. The fourth thing that I recommend is to embrace self-care. Start by changing into something comfortable. It may seem small, but dressing in clean clothes can give you a sense of freshness. And so even for me, like whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or like I don't know what to wear, I'll gravitate towards like a set. Like, I know that they go together. I know that works. Or I'll have like my one trouser and my one work pant and my one t-shirt that I know I feel comfortable in, and I will gravitate towards that. So have like a go-to outfit on those days that you are just like not feeling it. It is so important that just like having something that's easy will help you overall. The next step is to hydrate. Drinking water is essential for our physical and mental health. Fill up a glass or a bottle of water. I do this the night before, so I will keep my water in my nightstand because I'll typically end up especially when I'm feeling really anxious, the night before, I'll tend to wake up more to get up, or like my mind won't shut down. So I'll have like a glass of water with me, or my bottled water with me. And that is helpful. Again, that's like one last step you have to do in the morning. And the very first thing that I do is as soon as I get up, I will drink that cup of water. I often also, something else that I've done is I'll combine it when I'm taking my vitamins. So you can combine this when you're taking your medication, your vitamins, because I also know that it's hard sometimes to take our medication. So if you're someone who constantly forgets to take your medication and you're finding yourself like, why am I feeling so low today? Why am I feeling so anxious today? Well, if you didn't take your medication, that could also be a reason as to why and also if we don't take our medication as prescribed, as in the same time every day, it's harder to keep up with the habit. So whether you put your medication right on your nightstand with your water, or maybe you get coffee and you want to just have your medication there and then take your water. So habit stack, like put those things together to make it so much easier for yourself. For me, if you just put it on your nightstand, I think that is going to be the best option, because being realistic, like even walking to get coffee might be a lot. So putting it right next to your nightstand might be the best option for you. But definitely try to pair it with something. Step 6, it is important to be gentle with yourself. If you need a moment to recollect your thoughts, it's okay to take a break. I personally recommend to sit and journal. I personally love journals that are very quick and easy. I've raved about it on this channel, the 5-minute journal, because it focuses on gratitude, which is sometimes so hard when you're feeling down or anxious. It's hard to focus on the positive or what is currently existing in our life. But that only takes 5 minutes in the morning, and I think that that could be so helpful. Or you could do a brain dump of your thoughts, put them down in a piece of paper so that you're not walking or entering the day with all of these maybe negative, intrusive thoughts that your mind is trying to amplify, and therefore making it even harder to get out of bed. And then I want to say we're in step 7, eat breakfast. Now, I know that, a lot of people recommend to eat a nutritious breakfast, but sometimes when you're feeling absolutely like garbage, you do not want to make yourself a huge breakfast. And so gravitate to something easy. I like to make eggs in the morning. That is so easy for me. So even when I'm not depressed or anxious, that's my go-to easy meal. I've also gotten protein shakes on those days where I'm just like not feeling it, or a bowl of cereal. Something quick and easy. You can even do a protein bar, just something to get something in your stomach before you decide to have that cup of coffee. And that's another thing, like even just switching your cup of coffee. If you're an anxious girl, you definitely want to switch, maybe doing like decaf at first to allow yourself to, again, the moment if one, you don't eat anything and then you have coffee, you are basically upping your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, and that just primes your whole day to go to shit. It's really important, if you're gonna have coffee, eat something first, but also just making that transition to maybe decaf or tea could be super helpful as well. And then the next step is to set small goals. Start your day by setting achievable goals. This is either completing like maybe one chore, or engaging in a hobby, or even like going for a small walk outside. Now, again, realistic to me is not going to be what's realistic to you. So in this day that I'm showing you the clips of, it was Sunday, and what I decided to do is I knew that the one thing that I wanted to do today, if I didn't get anything done, would be to plan my week, because I know that was going to set myself up for success for the week. I like to share with my clients to just do one thing. What is the one thing that you want to do that is going to make your next day better? If you see it in that way, it becomes more realistic. You're only thinking about one thing instead of 3 things or 5 things in your to-do list. You just get to pick one, especially when you're feeling down, and you just commit to accomplishing that one thing, and you have your full day to accomplish it. For me, that was planning my week. And then finally, the last step is to remember that healing takes time. Be patient with yourself. Don't forget that you are worthy of rest and self-care. And if you are needing extra support, make sure that you reach out to someone, whether that be a friend, a family member, or a mental health therapist. I really encourage you to find someone to talk to. Even on the days where I didn't want to talk to my therapist, they always end up being great sessions. Don't skip your therapy, or don't skip just asking for help. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.